people. I saw you recently ran into the 27-time world champion. Was this on a jog? How did you run into him?
Yeah, man, that was so random, man. I was at a running canyon, just getting a little road work in, running up the hill, and I'm like, man, this guy looks familiar. And then I was like, Henach? He's like, porra, caralho. And I was like, man, like this guy, like 10 years ago, you know, like he was the guy when it came to the jiu-jitsu community and like making content, you know. He was definitely ahead of his time. But a funny guy, man, super humble. Like I was able to make a little video for my story and super random.
What is up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Spar Star, coming to you with another great installment of the Grappling Hour. I hope you're having a great day, and guess what? If you're not, you're about to, because I've got a guy here who threatened me all day with a go-go clinch, all day while we were rolling. I won't tell you if it happened or not. I'll just tell you there's nothing more terrifying than when I say I will cheat to win, and this dude goes, oh, I'll cheat right back. And I was like, all right, I kind of respect that. But he didn't cheat, so good for him. Nonetheless, before we get to him, why don't we go over a couple quick reminders. First and foremost, if you like this show, and I hope that you do, go on over to patreon.com/grappling hour. If you go there right now, pay $5, you'll see these interviews 30 days before anybody else. And for a few extra dollars, you could see extra premium content that is not available anywhere else, including tape studies. We did one with this gentleman right here. It's pretty good. We actually reversed the order. Normally we do the interview and then that. He wanted to see his fight. So I was like, I can't tell him no. But you can see that on our premium. You can also see a segment called Roast Draft where people roast my competition footage. There's also the Grappling Hour Challenge where we give a card to one of the guests and see if they can land the submission on the card on me in 2 minutes. All of you guys like those segments. I don't know why. So just saying. In the future, we'll have more guests doing that, but we recently had our good buddy, Chris Wojcik, take an attempt at it. And if you want to see it, you have to pay to play. So I'm not giving that one out for free. Additionally, you can also get some Grappling Hour merch. Head on over to rafsparza.com/merch. And if you would be so kind, a like, a comment, and subscribe goes very far for us. And if you don't know what you want to comment on right now, by the end of this video, I will give you a prompt that will be a discussion topic if you don't know what to say at the very end. But there's that. Last but not least, you can also join the Grappling Hour Discord to continue the conversations we have here on the show. All right, let's get to our guest. Our guest had the nerve to try and finish a go-go clinch in the middle of an MMA fight. And you know, that's a very, very low percentage of people who have ever tried doing it, but that rubber guard looked real good for a dude who's not 10th planet. Nonetheless, his fight was so good, so incredible. He captured the 135 belt for Spar Star, and it looks like it might not be the end of where we're going to see him. Maybe some little additional weight class in the future, maybe in the near future. We'll see. But why don't we welcome for the very first time, Matheus Santos.
Raf, thank you for having me, brother.
Good to have you here. Did you enjoy rolling today, sir?
Absolutely, man. That was amazing. Super fun. And it was great to expand my knowledge too, you know? So
you know what's so funny is like you were trying to tell me, you're like, brother, I'm going to learn from you. I'm like, you're the fighter, bro. I'm just here to kind of like roll and get to know you better. And you are truly a student in every way. Like even when you had the better parts of the rolls, you were really good and you were taking notes as to what I like to do and then adjusting on the fly. So, but at any point, did you feel like I was trash talking you?
Oh, absolutely.
While we're doing this? Okay.
Maybe not verbally, but with your actions for sure.
Well, no, I was saying on the talk on the text when we were starting.
Oh, that too.
Okay. Because I like to have fun. And I was like telling you, I was like, hey, brother, we're gonna train soon. And I'm like, I've seen this dude's body of work, so it's not going to scare him. But you're so respectful, and I just got this whole thing. The minute you saw me, the first words out of his mouth were, let's get this work. And I was like, oh, shit, this dude wants to go right now. So I appreciated that.
I appreciate you, man.
Having said that, we got to roll. We got to go over certain techniques with each other. And then we actually did the fight analysis. We did the tape study of your fight. For you, we always like to ask this for people who just come out of a championship fight. For you, you had this 10-year long journey as an amateur that started at U of MMA that I saw. And that's kind of where you were on my radar, but I didn't know you personally. And when I kind of watch people like that, you know, U of MMA doesn't exist anymore, but those people have gone on to do great things. And you have continued to stay fighting, but you've had moments where you weren't fighting.
Yeah.
In that moment, what did winning that 135 championship mean for that 10-year journey?
It meant the world, you know. It meant that hard work pays off, persistence pays off. And yeah, it's definitely, like you said, it's been a long time coming, and it's something I've been dreaming of for a while. So I just feel blessed that, you know, I was able to go out there and do what I needed to do.
And not only do what you needed to do, but like you looked good in that fight. And to me, sometimes that's kind of the thing I like to see for people who are about to go pro, which is I want to see them at their best before they take that next jump. For you, is it defend the title and then go to pro, or are you thinking going pro sooner than later?
Most definitely. I feel like I got one more in me, you know. Yeah, man, you know, I got like 8, 9 fights, but a lot of them were early on in my career, you know. Ever since I joined CMMA, I'm on a 4-fight win streak. So I feel like one more 5, you know, get that penta, that you know, 5-fight win streak, and then go pro, you know.
I love that. I don't know that it's called penta anything. You know, just calling it that is just being like, Raf, you know, and I'm like, oh, is that what we do? I know 3-peat.
For sure.
I think after 3-peat, we don't really have a word for it.
Penta-peat, man. We're coming up with that.
And the thing I really appreciate about you is, even though there's like this fun natured going back and forth, you had such a good attitude about it. And even in your texts, you have such a good attitude. How do you keep such a up attitude, like such a like positive sort of attitude? Because to me, it's a very negative sport, and there's a lot of negative voices. But even when you hear me crack jokes on myself and say like, oh, my jiu-jitsu's like this, you're like, no, bro, you're good in this. And I go, I hope he understands I really don't think that, but it's a good joke. For you, how do you find your positivity in this crazy ass sport?
That's a very easy question, man. That's just because of my family, you know, it's just the way I was raised. You know, coming from Brazil at a very young age, you know, with a single mother, being raised by my grandparents, my aunts, they taught me to, you know, always stay positive. My grandma on the daily reminds me to stay humble, you know, and always do the right thing. So that's just a reflection of my family and the way I was raised.
So, okay, your grandma is very important in your life then.
Oh, for sure. All of them. My grandpa, my mom, my stepdad, you know. Okay. For sure, absolutely. They're the foundation.
So round me a number. How many family members in like the immediate family do you have?
15 to 20.
15 to 20.
Yeah.
And are they in Brazil or are they here?
So they're mainly here. Okay. My father lives in Brazil.
Okay.
I got 3 half brothers in Brazil. So it's great, man. It's a great mix because I get to go out there, you know, have some fun, spend some time with them, and then I got my foundation here, man.
That's awesome.
I got everything I need here, and yeah, man, it's a blessing for sure.
For you, man. I mean, I grew up with a grandma that was pretty old, and so I would get more stories than time with her, because what would end up happening is we saw her kind of like have Parkinson's, you know, and distribute signs. So we were seeing her spiritually with us, but physically it wasn't always like the reactions you would get. But I remembered the time so vividly as a kid of her full of life and like cooking for us. So those formative grandparents in our life can really lay that foundation of probably why we are so who we become. So for you, yeah, is she a lighthearted person? Is she kind of like fun? Like, where does she have it?
For sure, super lighthearted. My whole family is super lighthearted, and I guess that's just kind of where I get it from.
Okay. I mean, the nice part to me is somebody like you who doesn't take any of this seriously in that way is where I go, oh, now I can really talk trash to you, because you don't care.
For sure.
And that's where I go, oh, thank God, dude, because sometimes people will be like, hey, man, I'm going to hit this on you. And they're like, oh yeah, you want to see about that? I was like, hey bro, I was like joking.
It's not that serious.
You know what I mean? Like we're pajama wrestling here. I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
But for you, I was just like, oh shit, he's gonna have a blast with this.
For sure. And like lions don't lose sleep over the opinion of sheep, you know. So not saying you're a sheep.
I was about to say, I was like, all right, we're about, you know what, I'm gonna get all my training gear back again.
Don't leak the footage, man.
No, don't leak. I would just tell you this. It's that I think if you do jokes, you have to be willing to have people do jokes back at you. Mm-hmm. And it's one of the ways I connect with people the fastest, because I roast all my students, I roast my friends, but I have a policy of not roasting people who can't handle it. Yeah. Because that's not fun. Like, then you're just being mean. For me, it's just like, oh, okay, he knows we're going to go. And then all of a sudden, when I saw you start, I was like, I wonder if he's going to go intense, like at the very beginning of it. And you were starting real light. Like, you were starting at a real flow roll speed. And I was like, look at this guy actually doing a flow roll. I didn't expect that. I was half expecting you to turn it up a little bit. And then do you think there was a moment when it turned up when we were rolling?
Oh, most definitely. You know, you definitely started making me pay for for some of my actions, but it's all good, man. It's iron sharpens iron, man.
But that's the whole thing. Is I'm only turning it up because I tell people I'm a choose your own adventure role. Mm-hmm. So I go however you go. So the only problem with that is there's not like a key turn that we both do to go escalate. It just happens organically. So I was thinking like, okay, cool. We're starting to go a little bit more now. And for me, getting a sense of how to fill in the blanks from what I saw from your fight and your previous fights. And I was just like, yeah, I really wanted to get a sense of how you roll. And you do have a pretty good all-around game. Like, that, boss. Really, really good stuff. And, you know, I wanted to wrestle with him, but he was like, I'm too tired. So, like, you know what I mean? That counts as an L. I want to be very clear about that. But for you, wrestling is a part of the background. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But I want to come back to this experience for you. Is there any celebrations that you tend to do after a fight like this? You win this title, you know, you told me like, bro, I'm enjoying the carbs right now. And I'm like, bro, you're barely above the weight you need to weigh in. Like, if you needed to, you could probably weigh in tomorrow. So sure. You're okay. But what does a celebration look like for you? Spending
time with family, getting some food. Honestly, you know, like, it's a great accomplishment being the 135-pound champ for Spar Star, which is, you know, a huge promotion out here in SoCal. But honestly, man, there's more land to conquer, you know. Mm-hmm. I definitely want to keep chasing other accolades and job being finished, to put it simply.
Okay, that's fair. You also were kind enough, pun intended, you went out and got these bars for us. Now, listen, I appreciate this. This was really nice of you because my brain was not functioning without some kind of jogging mechanism. So you gave me this fuel. But then you were like, bro, I wish I knew. I would have brought you some snacks. What snacks would you have brought had you have planned ahead? Because you said, no, I want to bring you some Brazil snacks.
Yeah, man, you wanted a Diet Coke. So I'm like, you got to have a Guaraná, you know?
Okay. What for those not accustomed, what is a Guaraná?
It's a Brazilian soda. It's made out of like this Brazilian cherry. And it's hard to explain, but it's very good.
What is the main difference between the garbage I'm drinking and that?
Honestly, it's still soda at the end of the day, but funny story, you know, I went to Brazil earlier this year and went with some family, and just the food out there is extremely rich, you know. Yeah. It's you can feel the difference for sure, and as an athlete especially, you know, you feel a lot cleaner. And
really, the food is cleaner out there
for sure.
Okay. If you were hosting me out there, what would be the food places you would recommend to me? Like, listen, fat kid here, love food, enjoy it a lot. Where are you taking me if I say, give me your best food?
Anywhere, man. Anywhere. Look, you're on the beach. You got vendors coming up to you, selling you skewers with picanha, chicken on the charcoal. It's yeah, man, whatever. We can go to the liquor store and find some real good stuff, you know?
I mean, the sad part is when you were asking me, I was like, there's a liquor store across the street. It doesn't have all the options you need, but if you're going to go there. And then I saw him go there, and I wasn't trying to sell them out. They're very nice people. But the minute I like turned around to put in another cable, I saw him deucing out that place. And I said, it didn't have quite what he was looking for.
Didn't meet the standard.
Didn't quite hit what you were looking for because you were hungry as well. Okay, so that's how you eat out there. what has been the best food that you've found since living in LA? Like what is the food that I wouldn't say is comparable, but that like are your go-tos out here?
Honestly, I got an air fryer that gets it done for me.
Same. Yeah.
But man, I feel like you know, there's a lot of good Mexican food out here. You know, I love the culture out here.
Mm-hmm.
I was raised by my stepdad. Shout out Rigo Lopez. You know, and he's Mexican, and he put me out of the Mexican culture from a very young age. So he got my Spanish right, and yeah, man, he put me on. So I feel like I feel blessed, you know, because I got the Brazilian side, I got the American side, and I also have that Mexican side. So
what part of Mexico did he grow up in?
I believe it was Guerrero.
Okay.
Yeah, so small town.
Yeah,
he grew up like, you know, in El Rancho and stuff. And
because I'm not gonna lie, I almost wanted to claim you as one of ours. Like I looked at you and I was like, oh, is he Mexican? I don't know. But you have a very Brazil attitude and a very Brazil chillness to you that I go, no, I think he's Brazil. And then all of a sudden you do the like, oh yeah, Santos, okay, that kind of all checks out there. So you kind of look like you could pass for all of those different things as is. But that's a good cross section there. So okay, you said air fryer. Talk food with me. What kind of food are you making in that air fryer, sir?
Just man, it's pretty boring, bro. Just ground beef. You know,
wait, so you're putting ground beef in the air fryer?
For sure. I'll kind of make little meatballs with it.
Okay.
I'll usually do like 93.7, 93 lean, 7 fat.
Good, man.
Just some boiled eggs in there, and that's pretty much it, man.
See, my wife has gotten into the pressure cooker for the boiled eggs because most of the cooking I do. And a lot of it is so that I don't eat the terrible food for you. I try to stay mostly healthy through the week. The weekends are my fun days. But when you talk about that, we recently made burgers from scratch. Like with she got actually like a sirloin ground beef. And she's like, what do we want to do with that? She's like, would you make me a burger? And I was like, sure. And she's like, how are you gonna do it? I was like, I'll do the air fryer, but I have a system. And she's like, okay. And so we do it. And I look at her and I go, how is it? Like I'm literally not stopping until she gives me a review. And sometimes she'll like be midway through the burger and I can tell it's pretty good, but she hasn't said it. And she'll be like, oh yeah, it's good. And I go, can you verbalize these things? Can I get this feedback? So
you gotta make me a burger then, man. You're selling this thing.
Hey, bro. I mean, I'm happy to. You know what?
We'll put the recipe on the Patreon.
Hey, you know, I just tell people this. I like utilizing it for me for a lot of veggies. The veggies are like my go-to, but now a little cheat secret of mine is the mother-in-law got us a rice maker that has a steamer above it.
Oh,
so now I make the rice, but I actually put like broccoli and carrots to be steamed above it. And I used to do the steamer off of the pressure cooker, but I actually like broccoli a little crisper.
You're gonna have to send me that.
Yeah, 100%. I'll show you that. Dude, it's a lifesaver because it's a 2-in-1. So literally, I'm finished with my rice and I've already made good veggies. Then it's whatever protein I've made.
Time is money.
Yeah, dude, 100%. That's why when my wife was so funny, she goes, I got you a pressure cooker for your birthday. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. And she just goes, oh, you're okay with this? I was like, yeah, I know exactly what I'm going to do with this. So it has changed my life and it makes me so happy because I can cook so much faster and efficiently for meal preps.
Right.
And that, I'm pretty sure, is what you have to do whenever you're in camp.
For sure, man. Absolutely.
So you mentioned the possibility of going down a weight class.
Yes, sir.
All right. So then we really need to dial in this food sort of thing. So we'll talk more about that. But what prompts you to want to go down to 125? Because to me, you look very comfortable at 135. And brother, for 135, in pretty good shape. Not gonna lie. Like that's a good size for you. What's the emphasis of wanting to go to a new weight class?
I just feel like my walk around weight, you know, I usually walk around like 142, 143. And honestly, to make 135 is very easy. You know, I don't do any of the water loading. I kind of just wake up, sauna, and make that weight. So I feel having that day before weigh-in, I can definitely, you know, make some more sacrifices and get down to that weight.
Boy. What are we talking for sacrifices here? You said sacrifices, and to me, I just always think food. But what does that mean for you?
That's it, man. The food, a little bit more road work, you know, be on that calorie deficit, all that fun stuff.
You know, I'm pretty good at math, but for whatever reason, I've never been able to do calorie deficits correctly because my brain always just goes like, it's like 20 calories or something, right? Like I'm so precise about so many things, but when it comes to like counting food, I go, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's a skill.
It's a very difficult thing. I think at one point my S&C guy was talking macros, and I go, not going to do it. 100% not going to do it. Okay. Let me ask this. When you say you have sacrifice, are you somebody who does like drinks? Like, do you do alcohol or any of that sort of stuff, or no?
I used to.
Okay.
Like in my early 20s, I definitely had a fair share of my fun going out, Yeah, but nowadays, I just feel like I'm a little more mature. I'm a little older. And I just don't like how my body feels after that, So it's not even that I'm missing out. It's just that it's something I got to do. And it's something that just doesn't intrigue me like it used to, 5-6 years ago.
I like to tell people this. Highly motivated people will give up a lot of stuff to make something happen. So for me, I will drink socially with friends, but it's very rare I'll do it at home by myself.
Yeah.
And for me, if I know I'm on like a major assignment or something like that, dude, I've worked gigs and people are going, "You gonna drink right now?" I'm like, "We're still doing the gig." Mm-hmm. And they go, "Well, we do that." And I go, "You do it. You can do whatever you want. I don't drink on a commentary gig." And if I do, we make a pronouncement. Like we do a fight companion here at the gym, and we have a segment where we'll do a toast to the fighters if they get a finish. And it's my way of saying, like, getting finishes are hard, but you want to acknowledge when somebody does the extra hard work, and it's a cool little thing we clip. But I tell people, I'm like, that's it. That's the majority of the time. Like every once in a while, yeah, sure, I'll have a drink, but mostly it's a social gathering. So sure. That's why when I told you yesterday, I was like, "Hey man, gonna go see my boys and we're gonna drink." And they were even giving me shit. They're like, "Dude, you're so behind on drinks." And I was like, "I don't think you guys understand. If I get wasted, you don't have to train tomorrow. I do. And I'm training with an actual fighter that's a champion in his world." And they go, "Like, just fuck him up, bro." And I go, "Yeah, not going to be like that. It's going to be a much harder role than you think." And they're just like, "Sounds good, dude. Here's another beer for you." And I go, "Oh boy."
Cheers.
So yeah, made the most of it. Well, that's very good to know. And one of the things that we did when we were coordinating today is, I'm so glad you were able to make today work, but you're a busy man as well. And you were telling me, you're like, "Hey bro, give me a call. Let's figure this out. Let's make something happen." And we were able to schedule it via calls. So what are you doing? What is the real, we call it a shoot job. Mm-hmm. It's a pro wrestling term, but like, what is the real job when you're not training that you do?
I work for myself, I had to kind of keep out of necessity, just because I do want to train, want to get my training sessions in. So I, thankfully for my grandfather, he's in the pool maintenance business. Nice. So as a kid, like during the summer, all my friends were enjoying the pool, playing video games, and I was out there laboring in the hot sun, But it paid off, because I was able to learn the business, and thankfully, I'm self-employed now and trying to grow my business and make a living while, pursuing this dream of mine.
So, okay, while you're cleaning these pools and you're going out there, I have to be very honest about one thing. Mm-hmm. So a buddy of mine was doing work on my car, told me to bring some clothes to work on the car with him. I was like, "Okay, I don't know shit, but I'll do whatever you want. Like, I'll be the kid with the flashlight helping the dad out, And he's like, "Yeah, man, I want you to help if you can hold something for me." I was like, "Great." He goes, "But bring like clothes that you can wear." I thought, okay, like that you don't mind about. Great. I put on a wife beater and I totally forgot I was out in the sun.
Oh,
and
man.
Because I didn't know how long we were going to be there, I had to run errands, like go get parts, do all sorts of stuff. And bro, that night I went to go train and I was feeling it in my shoulders. I was like, "Oh fuck, I got a sunburn." And I didn't know it until somebody was putting pressure on me. I was like, "Ow, fuck." And then I go, "I can't play bottom. We got to play top now." And I started doing the math. I was like, "When do we roll? Because I can't bitch out. I've been talking small amounts of trash to you that I can't be like, 'Oh, I got a sunburn. I can't roll.'" So I kept thinking, I was like, put it on the aloe all week, being like, "Okay, how do you deal with this?" Because you were out at times, especially now in the summer, where it's a go season. How are you able to maintain not getting burnt every single day, sir?
It's got to suck it up, man. I wear a long sleeve, gets my body temperature up. In a way, it's kind of good, lose a little bit of water weight. But yeah, man, just long sleeve and AC and a lot of water.
Wow. Okay. I mean, that's commitment, brother, because even that day, I was like, "Man, I'm getting kind of hot." And I was like, I didn't mind wearing this white beater. And I was like, I never make this rookie mistake. I'm not doing suntan or some kind of thing like that. But I felt like the dumbest person being like, I shouldn't have worn a white
And
beater.
that was one day, right? Imagine you had to do 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row.
I'm
You would
saying,
have been
like,
cooked.
yeah, bro, I'm like a house cat here. I understand. Meanwhile, you're telling me, you're like, hey, man, I got to go do some stuff before we do this. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, you're doing that before you come here.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to come, you have this long sleeve on, but you're still getting somewhat cooked out there, I'm pretty sure.
For sure.
So it's a deep commitment to craft. So you decided to pick up this part of the business, and I'm pretty sure the nice parts come with it, which are obviously you get to make your own hours.
Yes, sir.
You are in charge of your own destiny.
Yes, sir.
I'm just curious, and you don't need to name names.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a part of me that has to think you've cleaned some pretty cool people's pools, or like impressive looking pools.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
What has been like the most impressive looking pool? Just describe it to us that you have ever either seen or cleaned.
Well, so I live in Mid-City. You know, I'm very close to like West Hollywood, Beverly Hills area. And yeah, man, you get a lot of beautiful properties up there, you know, big mega pools. Yeah, man, with the spill on and with the view, it's some incredible work. But to me, you know, at the end of the day, I'm there to do a job. You know, I'm there to provide the service. So I try to not soak it in too much. It is pretty motivating, though. Absolutely. But as far as like big clientele, like I haven't really had many of those when it comes to the pool business. I do personal training on the side, and fortunately, I've been pretty blessed to mingle in that type of clientele.
And see, that's a different thing to me because I think that's pretty cool. You were a coach at a very, very good gym, and you're right. The clientele that came down there is impressive. The only reason why I ask the pool thing in particular is that it's sort of like I work in entertainment, and sometimes when you do a scripted show or an unscripted show, we do what's called a tech scout. So you go to very impressive looking homes, and you're basically deciding, are we going to shoot here or are we not? Or you're making notes like, this is how we direct this is this. So these aren't my homes. And I don't really get like, I don't really get starstruck. But sometimes you walk into a home and you're like, this is a nice ass place.
There's
like,
levels.
You know what I mean? Like you just walk in there and you're like, I mean, I don't act like I need to afford this or I have to have this, but you just walk in going like, who let me into this place? This was a bad idea. For example, for the PGF, the thing I was telling you about, that organization, when they said, hey, for media day, just come to the castle. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Well, one of the owners of the PGF owns a castle.
Jeez.
In Vegas. And it is as described. So you walk in, you're just like, what are we doing? And they go, do you want to film in the attic or in the dungeon? I was like, the attic. I don't think I want to be in the dungeon. So thanks, bud. I'm going to go ahead and tell you.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Keep it safe.
And of course, that was on a hot day in Vegas that I'm in the attic. So heat rises. So I was just like, what's happening here? I'm in a suit jacket. It's a bad choice. Can you guys turn on the AC? They're like, literally turn it on. Levels out amazingly.
Oh, wow.
Quick. And I go, yo, that's impressive. So I'm just always curious in terms of what people see when they walk in, because I can tell you the architecture or the things that make sense to me. So that's why I was asking. I would never ask for the actual clientele.
For sure.
Because
it's confidential. Yeah.
Well, brother, then I will also ruin the business.
100%. But as far as, you know, doing the pool service, I don't really kind of, you know, like focus much on the house. I just like being outdoors, you know. I get to go up in the hills, get a beautiful view of the city, or we go up in the hills and there's a lot of like wildlife. I feel like I kind of like connect more with that than the house, you know.
That makes sense. Speaking of connecting with people, I saw you recently ran into the 27-time world champion. Was this on a jog? How did you run into him?
Yeah, man, that was so random, man. I was at a running canyon, just getting a little road work in, running up the hill, and I'm like, man, this guy looks familiar. And then I was like, Henach? He's like, porra, caralho. And I was like, man, like this guy, like 10 years ago, you know, like he was the guy when it came to the jiu-jitsu community and like making content, you know. He was definitely ahead of his time. But a funny guy, man, super humble. Like I was able to make a little video for my story and super random.
It's just, I didn't know if you knew him before that moment. Was that like one of your first times running into him?
I believe that was the second time. He commentated one of my fights for a Spar Star back in the day.
Oh, shit.
Back when it was at the Hollywood Park Casino.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't know he did commentary for that. Hey, shout out Uncle Hanach. We love you, brother. You know, it's very funny to me because he's somebody that I've run into here and there. And I don't want to give away kayfabe here, but we've run into each other a few times.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just interesting to me because him on a very big level, but our contribution for Verbal Tap was always, we're a comedy show. And I always felt like we got shit from people that were like, hey, this is MMA. We don't do that. And I go, well, you should have a sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at somebody like him, you're like, dude, that dude's a parody. And people would tell me, like, I hate that guy. And I go, it's a character. Like, he's playing, you know? And they're like, oh, fuck that guy. So now that you have your Craig Joneses, it's a little more safe to do that world. Like, Uncle Hanach was like somebody who made it fun. And that was something that we were struggling with at the very beginning, too. So what I always appreciated was he would always make the time if we were at the same event to just, we'd say hello to each other, check in, and then inevitably somebody would recognize him and just be like, hey, Uncle Hanach. And like, he would literally go from having a regular conversation with me. It's just like, hey, Raph, how's everything going? Everything good, man? You good? And I was like, yeah. And he would be like, oh, you come here, you try to do this to me. And then he would go straight into character and I'd just be like, oh no. But you actually having connection to Brazil, there was a period where people from Brazil didn't like him.
For sure. I mean, I'm sure there's people who like him. I'm sure there's people who don't like him, you know? Yeah, okay, man. I believe everybody can have their own opinion. Me, like,
you just seemed like, it was just funny to me because I saw you in the stories just doing that. And I go, I have no idea. If
I got so many messages too, like people from Jiu-Jitsu that I met 10 years ago. Back in Covina, people I haven't talked to in like 10 years are messaging me like, yo, this guy, like, you know, so it was cool. I got like a positive, I didn't get like no negative messages like, oh, like, screw that guy. Well, all the messages were positive.
It's a different world now. But keep in mind, the people who didn't like him, especially back then, were the old guard. And now a lot of us who were the young guard are the old guard.
Right.
So now there's a group of us who go, oh, I like that guy. But I cannot tell you how many people... Especially like, dude, my Brazilian jiu-jitsu coach is like, I don't like that, guys. And I go, I think it's because he's making fun of your accent. Maybe. And he would just be like, I don't like the guy. And then over time, I remember him saying one time, he just goes, that was pretty funny.
But I think it's pretty obvious, right? That he's doing like a character. Like, he's not like trying to live it. And like, I think it's like, it's obvious. Like, this guy is like putting this on, you know?
Yeah, but I think there was, from our experience, there was just this era of people taking themselves too seriously. And that was a hard thing for us because we just always acted like goofballs. And even being able to have the freedom to like text a fighter that you'd be like, yo, dude, oh, we're gonna go. And it's gonna be a knockdown fight. Some people at a certain era might have taken that a lot more seriously. Like now I feel you can have fun because you're just doing jiu-jitsu. So it's always in the spirit of good brotherhood. I felt like with him, because there's a cultural sensitivity, they might have been like, I don't like that. But I just go, oh, he's just being silly. Like,
I can see it.
Yeah, it's just funny to me. And the nice part is I go, meet him in person.
For sure.
Like, get to know that guy. He's been pretty nice. And the beautiful part about playing a character is at a certain point you can drop the character if you want to, or you can enact that character and give people what they want. And that's really what they want. They want the experience. Sure. So they want to be able to say like, oh, I talked to him and yeah, he said Eddie Bravo ain't shit and all this. And you go, amazing. I love it.
Yeah, man.
Let's do this. Let's now get into your background, because you mentioned to me when we were training that you actually started off wrestling. So I want to know, when did martial arts find its way into your life?
When I was a kid, like coming from Brazil, I played soccer for a little bit. It wasn't really my thing, and I would just remember watching like Vanderlei fight and Vitor Belfort. I was like, man, I want to try that, But I always wanted to do jiu-jitsu, but unfortunately we didn't have the funds to pay, 100 and something a month. So I waited till I got to high school. Wrestling was free. Wrestled my freshman year. And then my sophomore year, I started doing jiu-jitsu and just kind of fell in love with it. And yeah, man, very thankful for wrestling because that kind of got me a little head start when it came to the grappling. And I met some of my best friends in wrestling, Shout out Jose Lozano, that guy is one of my best friends and helped me for this camp. So I'm eternally grateful for those connections that I made through wrestling.
What can you describe as your first wrestling experience? Because I always like to know everybody's first jiu-jitsu experience, but we're going to come to that later. Since wrestling was first, like, what do you remember about your first day going into a wrestling room?
I was a little excited, didn't know what I was getting into for sure. But I just kind of decided to stick with it and, use it. I knew that I was going to be able to use it for jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
So I always kind of keep that in mind. I developed my style to kind of keep it simple and use it for the submission grappling.
Okay. So you did 2 years of wrestling in high school then?
Yeah.
Okay. And you met some great people from doing that. But in that second year, you started doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get to that.
Yeah, man.
Tell me what the first jiu-jitsu experience was like for you. Tell me about your first class and what you vividly remember about that experience.
Fell in love with it, I remember I used to ditch school, leave a period earlier so I could go home, catch the bus, go train. My mom would pick me up after work, after she got done with work, and did that for about a year and a half, just taking the bus on my own, training. My second year when I got my blue belt, I was a juvenile world champ for Nogi, IBJJF. And then from there, just kind of just got hooked, man.
So, okay, you jumped ahead of me because I normally ask the next question, which is, when did you fall in love with jiu-jitsu? So you're saying from day one.
Day one, man.
But that makes sense because you mentioned how you were watching it during your formative years when you were growing up, and that you said, oh, I want to be like Wanderlei. I want to be like those guys you saw on TV.
Right.
Like, what attracted you to that? Because obviously you became a fighter, but that's the first step. The entry level is, oh, I see these fighters, and you said, I'm going to do jiu-jitsu. So why jiu-jitsu first when you were putting that grand scheme together?
I think it's what just kind of was available at the time. And also, it's kind of being Brazilian and having that big culture and, having that pride definitely kind of motivated it a little bit.
Dude, that's so wild that here's a guy who had a life in Brazil at one point, and you couldn't afford jiu-jitsu skills in what was the mecca at one time of jiu-jitsu. Like, that's where we get a lot of this traditional version of our jiu-jitsu. So you actually had to be in America to then start going, all right, I'm going to do wrestling, which for a long period of time was our best feature for combat sports. Like, wrestling was our thing. Now we're seeing all these kids who have grown up with it for so long that they're creating their own branches.
For sure.
That is amazing to watch as they do it. Okay.
It's evolving,
It is. And I mean, it's evolving fast because everybody has their own little pocket of what they do well. And somebody was trying to explain to me, they're like, well, what's a 10th Planet style? And I was like, I don't know anymore. I was like, would you call PJ Barch a 10th Planet style? He brings his own flavor to it. Like, I feel like the best practitioners, like the Keith Krikorian, the Alan Sanchez, they have the elements of 10th Planet system, but they brought in their own experiences and expanded upon that. So that's a different thing. For you, we do like to ask this moment, when did you know that you fell in love with it, where you wanted to do it as more than just a hobby? Because it's one thing to say you fell in love with it, but then it's another to say, I'm going to make a living doing this. I'm going to commit to doing this. So when did you know that?
I think it was after my first MMA fight. I was able to win by armbar, and I'm like, man, this stuff like works, Just going through those emotions and that process. I'm like, man, I definitely want to do this again. And then 2 turned to 3, 3 to 4, and now 4 to 8 or 9.
So, okay. You knew it as you were going to do after your first MMA fight. What made you want to fight?
That's a good question, man. I don't know if I remember, but it was just like a calling, It was just like, you know what? I already got the skills when it comes to the grappling. Let's try to take it up a notch.
Were you just challenging yourself? Did a coach mention it? Did like somebody tell you they think you would be a good fighter? Like, how did that really come together for your first fight?
I think it was myself. I definitely kind of looked for a coach, Shout out to Roman Puga, he actually set me up with my first coach. Yeah, we met at a jiu-jitsu tournament. I'm like, man, this guy got like 2 fights. And then he's like, man, come train with me. And then, we kind of matched up on the jiu-jitsu level and then just, kept it going.
You guys have to be, I don't say this as hyperbole, but like 2 of the most storied amateurs in the scene.
For sure.
Because Roman, for a long period of time, just was not getting fights.
For sure.
And is an able-bodied dude, really good at what he does.
Absolutely.
And I just remembered being like, hey, man, I got you after your next fight. Let's do an interview or this. Bro, I was left on red for 2 to 3 years because it was just like, hey, like I would go up to him. I'm like, when's the next fight? He goes, I don't know, man. And I just thought, what's the issue? And he would tell me something and I go, how?
Right.
You seem like a perfect person to match up with. And I go, I don't want to make this worse, so I'll just shut up now. So I just told him, I was like, one of these times. And honestly, I think it was within the past 6-7 months, we finally did our first interview in person.
Right.
Because I've been watching that kid grow, and I've seen him do side quests, like going over to do like
Boxing.
boxing.
Yeah.
And then he did the Muay Thai shit with Fighters Rep and the kickboxing there. Like,
it paid off though, man.
Hey, man.
This guy is
he's very well rounded, and like a little somebody I know here. Maybe a little underranked. You know what I mean? Like, you're a little different. Your rash guard today, it was purple. But it's not faded. That man's belt.
For sure. It's white. It's so faded.
Bro. And the thing that we were ribbing on when he came here was, I was just like, bro, I know I'm the last person to talk, but you need to be promoted.
For sure, man.
And he just goes like, it's not up to me. And I go, okay, but can I make a direct appeal to who it is? And he goes, you can do whatever you want, man. It's just not going to help. And I go, okay. I go, but I think the reason why is because he would walk out with his gi.
Yes.
And then I go, okay, well, what's the issue? And he goes, maybe I need to show up more. And I was like, brother, are you wearing a gi that you're not even showing up to train in when you go to these fights? And he goes, yeah. And I go, okay, maybe don't wear the gi then. You know, and I'm giving him shit because I go,
then you're saying this guy's a professional boxer walking out of the gi.
Like, who is this kid? So
sure,
that is amazing that you guys cross paths at a jiu-jitsu tournament like that.
Yeah, man, definitely. Yeah, man, he was there since day one. And,
so when you were competing in these jiu-jitsu tournaments and you won, I'm so sorry. What did you win? It was a PANS?
It was IBJJF, Nogi Worlds.
Nogi Worlds, okay.
For juvenile.
For juvenile, okay. What did that experience feel like? Because to me, that had to be a very cool experience for the young kid that really wanted to go into this world. And that's probably some good validation that you do have a skill at this.
That was it. Yeah, it was good validation. It was good affirmation. Like, you know what? Like, we got something going. Let's just kind of take advantage of the momentum and see what's next.
So you accomplish that. You then start going into fighting. You said that you really fall in love with all this after your first one. And I saw that armbar. It was sick, bro. Like,
appreciate it, man.
It was really good. And, you know, again, when I'm taking notes, I'm like, all right, he sets it up like this. Don't let him do this. I was like, if he does this, I'm going to have to do that.
That's why you're well prepared, man. I wish I had some footage on you.
I mean, well, now you've rolled with me, so now you know. And, you know, the nice part is you think the trash talk stops now. No, it gets way worse now.
All right, that's good enough.
It's just the only difference is now I'm rooting for you a lot harder. Appreciate outside of the things. It's just when you're on the inner circle, you do get more jokes.
Yes, sir.
So that's going to happen more. But having said that, what do you feel with those moments, you know, your first MMA experience, your first jiu-jitsu win? Like, do you have a match or a jiu-jitsu moment that really stands out to you from your competition time there? Because you've got a seasoned amount of competition time in multiple formats. But was there one in particular for you on the jiu-jitsu side that you kind of said that was a really dope experience?
Probably the Nogi Worlds for sure. Just being in that pyramid, you know, being in that huge arena, feeling the pressure, obviously, you know, that comes with a big tournament like that. And just being able to get through it and get the victory, it was great.
Do you feel at that time that as a kid, that was how you learned to start adapting to pressure? Because I'm not sure if it's there. As you mentioned, it's a huge amount of people watching. Some people actually develop it when they do wrestling because the stakes are very high. And sometimes you're competing against your own teammates just to get the spot. So do you feel it was from wrestling or was it from that jiu-jitsu experience?
Both for sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your favorite moment in wrestling?
Probably my first match too, you know, super nervous and just go out there and I pinned the guy, you know, like in 10 seconds. It was a Frosh-Off tournament, you know, so I'm not going to say the guy was the highest skilled wrestler, you know. I'm sure it was his first competition too, but just being able to kind of get over those fears and those jitters and come out with the victory.
What are you talking about, bro? I brag about pinning white belts. I don't know what any of us are doing here. A win's a win, man.
For sure, absolutely, yeah.
And now I'm raising all these kids to be murderers where I don't know if I've told this story, but there's a kid, basically he's got a wrestling background, all of 17, right? And there was a day where I was like, hey man, can you wrestle this guy? And he goes, coach, I have a really good fireman's carry. And I go, all right, let me see it. Hits it real quick. And I go, okay. Starts rolling with somebody. I was like, do it again. Does it again. And I was like, damn, good kid. Then I roll with him. Camera's going in the background. Sees it. Tries to do it to me. And I was like, under no circumstances, young man. And I immediately go into a guillotine. I was like, you need to stop. You need to stop this right now. I was like, you tried to highlight reel coach. You need to stop this. Don't ever do that again. And he just laughs. And I go, you know what's going to happen now? He's like, you're going to fuck me up. And I was like, oh, for sure. And I put him in a twister. And I was like, brother. As I get him in a twister, I was like, you want to know something really sad? He's like, what? I go, what does this count in wrestling as? And he goes, it's a fucking pin. I was like, so do you want to accept the pin or should I do the submission? He's like, I don't accept any pin. And I was like, all right, crank it in. And I start pulling on it. He's like, poison. He just goes, coach, you're kind of mean. I was like, am I?
Scandalous, man.
I was like, or am I just restoring the nature of the balance that needs to be put out there?
It's the karma, you know?
But I just loved it. I was like, bro, don't ever try and do that shit to me again. I was like, it's disrespectful if firemen's carry me after you're like, I'm going to do it there. And then I sent him footage of one of the UFC BJJ back takes that I want to say it was Jason Nolf and Andrew Tackett. And Nolf went to fireman's carry him and it ended up like getting his back compromised. And I was like, it's kind of one we don't do a ton here in the sport, and that's why. It's
a little specific for sure.
But hey, bro, 10 seconds. That's a really good feeling
for
after
sure,
that.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a rush.
Okay. And so do you miss wrestling or now do you get your fill of it by going to see MMA? Because
definitely do miss wrestling, just being active, you know, having those dual meets and those tournaments. I feel like experience is what makes a fighter great, you know?
We were talking a little bit about this in terms of like other formats that have team-based events. Would you ever be interested in doing like a team-based Jiu-Jitsu style meet like that?
I'd open to it for sure. Absolutely. You know, experience is experience and data is data. And I'm definitely looking at the end goal. You know, I definitely want to be the best fighter I can. And those things definitely give you bonus points and get you towards that goal.
Now for you, what do you feel that you've carried over the most from your wrestling days? Because I'll tell you this much. I feel it is a cheat code to have done wrestling.
For sure.
It is very sucky for those of us. I did soccer during those years, so I didn't get to do wrestling. Insanely jealous of you guys because you can build upon that foundation. When you get old, that's not happening. You're not going to have wrestling like other people have.
The body awareness for sure, you know, scrambling and just being able to be explosive and calculated. It's a huge skill.
I think part of the reason why I asked this is there was a photo and you and your boy were taking a photo together. And I was like, bro, he out-angled you. And he was like, oh, man, I had to let him have it because it was out-wrestled this day and wrestling. So what happened there? You know, I see your selfie game.
What picture?
I don't know what it was, but I thought I sent you a photo or some sort of thing. I was like, bro, it looks like he's out-angling you. You guys take like a selfie at the end of class. And it was like, oh, shit, it's because he had the better of me in wrestling or something to that effect.
I'm drawing a blank.
I'll go back and check the records. I might be wrong on that one.
I do remember, though, like you did send me that, but I don't remember specifically what moment it was.
It was literally just you and your boy taking a post-fight selfie. And I was like, brother, it tells me you don't know. Like, if somebody's out-angling you, you got to change the angle on them just so that you get the better shine on what you're trying to do.
No, that's definitely something I got to work on. You know, it's like the marketing, the media. Like I don't pay. You know, I rather put my attention and my energy towards the skill and towards the fighting. But I definitely have to get a little more well-rounded with.
Brother, it's all smoke and mirrors at this point. You get 100% out. Like, dude, it's just like competition. You know why? He saw you bust out the phone and is like, nah, I'm going to get better on this. And I was like, damn, dude, he outdid you on that one. It's just like anytime somebody does that, I'm like, if somebody has a better six-pack than me, I basically like, I'll stand next to them, but I'll angle it a certain way as a photographer where I'm like, it almost looks like their abs are my abs so that we're the same. And I'm like, see, it's just being comparison shopping.
I'm gonna definitely be a little more, aware next time.
That's what you need to do, sir. It's the way of the game.
For sure.
It's the easiest way of like, I didn't do as many sit-ups. Or like, dude, if I look at somebody like you, I'm like, dude, you're 135. What'd you do? 4 sit-ups? And now you got abs? Congrats. Good work. Sure. Anybody over 150, it's a lot harder to make that
ribs,
work.
Man.
It's ribs?
It's the ribs, bro.
What was it? I saw on one of your things, I do the research, I look at one of your things, and on one of your lift parts, you go, might fuck around this season and start learning how to lift.
For sure.
So where did that come from?
I think it was just the pump, man. It's like, man, like I feel like I got, some pretty good genetics. And I'm like, man, if I were to take this seriously, I would be I definitely have some muscle mass on me, but I do want to eventually make 125. I do want to keep my weight low, so it's just one of those things I have to balance. I can't get too caught up with the liftings, then I'm gonna get heavier, and I got to keep it calculated for sure.
Do you, as a result of that, have to dial down some of your strength and conditioning as a result of that?
For sure, bro. Yeah. I got to be a little more catabolic.
It sucks because you're pretty quick, so you don't want to lose that at any time, or you won't want to get too bulky where you don't have your speed like you would.
For sure.
Yeah. That's fighter problems, bro.
Absolutely, man.
Like, legitimately, I just look at that and I go, bro, I'm just trying to look okay at an old age. So whenever I'm doing my S&C, I just go, like, sometimes the guys are doing work around here and I have to like do lifts.
I mean, you got the wife beaters, man. So you gotta look good in those,
Honestly though, if I can walk around a wife beater, I think I look okay. I had one dude, a local fighter out this way, really nice guy, did this to me, wore without the sleeves, and he just goes, okay. And I go, why are you feeling me up? He's like, I just want to make sure it was real. Like, I saw how they looked, and the arms went bad, brother. And I was like, can you not feel me up while we're rolling, bro? And he goes, no, it's a compliment. I was like, I'm sure it is. It's just now you're just, why do you have to touch that?
You could be a little more verbal, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, you're not getting a grip in jiu-jitsu or anything. So I was giving him shit for the rest of the time, and it was very funny. But I just loved him being like, I don't know, man, you wear the suit. I didn't know it was happening there. And I was like, it's okay.
It's props.
I'm not advertising it like it's other people's, but also my S&C guy likes to get photos. So he'll be like, hey man, do you have a new photo for me? And I'm like, fine, here you go, bro. And he just goes, progress is, he's like, oh, I see that vein happening right there. I was like, yep, just enjoy that. So that's cool. All right, well, let's talk future now.
Yes, sir.
What are you looking to do? Like, what is the goal from here on out? Because going pro is soon.
Absolutely.
But in 5 years, where would you like to be?
Definitely, I feel like it's an easy question. 5 years, I definitely want to be in the UFC. I want to be fighting for, a top organization, Definitely, for the moment, I feel like I have the skill set for sure to, get there one day, but I definitely need just a little more experience, I'm not a delusional guy. I'm not going to go out there and say, I'm the best 135 on the planet. Like, I know my skill set and I know what I need to do, and I feel like that experience is definitely going to chip away at that goal. Nice. So a little bit more experience, stay evolving, just keep my head down and just stay persistent.
Okay. I know I asked you about the jiu-jitsu meets, but are we going to see you back in jiu-jitsu competition anytime soon? Because, bro, it's pretty good, man. I think before they give you a promotion, I think you should go fuck up some purple belts.
I've been thinking about it, man.
Yeah?
I might have to now.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying. I mean,
you spark.
Bro, I'm telling you, it's that right before you get promoted, you get a little spicier.
For sure.
It always happens. And like, you could feel it. And it's just like, it's the compliment you give your friends when you say, you earned that. You were really like, I thought you were a brown belt from this whole time. Like, just before that promotion happens, I always tell people, like, go get one more in.
For sure. I feel like earlier on I did because I wanted that competition. But man, to keep it honest with you, man, I get that competition at CMMA, man.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I get those, training with those guys, like those are like the competitions. Those are like the hard rounds. So I kind of don't have that need to go compete because I already have to compete.
Don't they also have tournaments there? Like
they do, yeah.
Like Chad has some of his own tournaments that he runs there.
For sure.
And, I'm always happy to plug them and talk about them, but they always pick them on terrible days for us.
Really?
So like I plug them and I'm like, some of my kids are like, are we going to this one? I was like, well, you can, but I'm not able to go. And I go, but I'm sure it's going to be a good tournament. And even one of the homies, Casey, who is a reporter, super good, super nice guy. Casey's older than me, and Casey is a grinder. Like,
he's a dog, yo.
He's a dog, bro. But he makes me laugh because I think there was a moment where he goes, all right, signing up for a competition. I was like, brother, that's going to be a rough one. Can you find other old people to fight? And maybe we can talk a little bit more about that. But yeah, man, I give him all the props in the world. I think at one of the ones, so they have like Josh does those catch wrestling ones.
Yep.
And I'm so fascinated by that because of, the pinning predicaments we talk about here for that. The problem is I see people who really do that. And I go, oh, right. those are the real wrestlers who want to show up for that event.
For sure.
But I would assume for you,
It's
kind of in the
great
wheelhouse,
work.
bro.
Yeah, it would be amazing work, getting exposed to that style and having to just getting that data.
Well, because most people don't speak both languages. So if you have some wrestling background, it's definitely something to consider. So
For sure.
I'm throwing it out there before they.
I might have to, man. You're kind of, getting that itch, man. So I might have to
bro.
go out there and get some medals.
Hey,
I need some.
I like that he was like, I don't need medals, but I mean, you got one. we sometimes I like to, when somebody wins a tournament, like sometimes oh, that's a tournament that's real expensive. Like an IBJJF tournament right now. I'm like, bro, I'm not paying for membership fees. I'm not paying for whatever fees you're supposed to pay. There's like 15 different fees. Not doing it. But I will challenge you for that medal. So how about you pay for it? And I'm going to challenge you for that medal. If I beat you, I get to take that medal.
All right, we'll see. I'll think about that one.
well, I didn't say that for you. I'm just saying I think it's a good way to save some money. So that you could be like, bro, go out there and win. That's really nice. That's a good medal. Be ashamed if somebody beat you for that, So it's I don't know if it's called like second chance theater or something like that, but I've always wanted to do that, or somebody that could put up their medals for like a TV show where it's like, dude, you beat me for that. I want that medal back.
I want that title.
Yeah. Well, titles I think are a little different. I think titles, unless it's a jiu-jitsu title, is a weird one. Mm-hmm. But I feel like if somebody has like a grudge from like a Naga or a Jiu-Jitsu World League, that matters to no one else except for the two guys who were on the mat that day. I think that's a pretty good show.
Maybe go medal for medal. You got a Naga.
That's what I'm saying.
I got the IBJJF.
Oh, bro, I'll double up for that. See, all right.
It's not a bad idea.
That's what I'm saying, bro. This is why I'm a TV producer. So I'm like, oh no, I think that's the show I want to do in the future.
That might be a hit, bro.
So that's what I'm saying. Go win your medal. And then I'm gonna challenge you for that medal, and then just take that medal from you.
You make it 135,
brother. We're doing an absolute.
We're doing open weight.
We're doing a catch weight.
For sure.
I like this dude.
I'll get back on the lift just for that one.
I'm 100% gonna like make him do that and be like, yeah, bro. Not only am I not gonna make that weight, I'm gonna come in heavier. I'm gonna make sure that pressure is gonna be way worse than I ever had it today. I just feel like. You're in a good place. Sometimes those pro opportunities can take a moment, or sometimes like the turnarounds aren't as fast. Right. So it's just something I like to put in people's minds where I'm like, hey man,
stay active.
Just stay active, keep there, because if you want to keep that momentum from that last fight, that guy shows up to fight again, I think that guy does well. So it's my encouragement to be like, whatever it is you're doing, keep doing that to stay in that place. Because I think that guy is ready to go pro. So
appreciate that.
Just stay on that grind, man.
Thank you, man. Absolutely, man. That's the goal. And yeah, man, it's a chip away.
Well, here's what I'm going to do right now. What I like to do at the end of the interview, I like to tell people that is the camera for them right here. So this one's you. I want you to look directly at that camera, and I'm going to put it on you and shout out any of your team, any of your sponsors, anybody who's been helping you. And then, let people know about your business, where they can contact you if they want to get their pools clean, or they need some service, or they need some business. You were the guy they should be going to.
I appreciate that, man. I feel like first things first.
Hold up. Pause. And resume. All on you.
Sir, what was the question again?
Question is, go ahead and shout out any sponsors, the people, anybody you want to shout out, and let the people know where they can do business with you if they're looking to get their pool serviced.
Absolutely. I feel like first things first is I got to thank my family, my mom, my stepdad, my grandparents, my aunt, my uncle, everybody. They're my rock. They're they're the foundation of my life. Without them, I wouldn't be able to be where I'm at today. Shout out, CMMA, all my training partners, without them, I definitely wouldn't be, on this 4-5 win streak. They're the ones that really bring the best out of me. Same goes for my coaches, Chad George. Without him, I wouldn't be where I'm at. As far as, for the pool service, you guys can contact me directly at 626-208-7513. I feel like I'm an all-around pool guy, so if you need any repairs, pools green, weekly maintenance, any of your pool needs, you can go ahead and hit me up. And that same dedication that I put towards my training is the same dedication that I put towards my business. So I try to be the best at fighting, and I try to be the best pool guy when it comes to my business. And yeah.
Well, here's what I will say. If any of you guys are in the community, you should be giving this man your business, because listen, we want to support fighters on their outside ventures, and the more support you give to him, the more fights you get to see from him. Like, that's really what it comes down to. Help this man achieve that next step to his goal, because hey man, once you go pro, it doesn't mean you're done. The side business doesn't go away, bro. Like, you got to continue working to make sure that you can do these fun things. So let's make sure that we can give him some love and some support, because he needs to go out and not only do that, but like win a medal so that I can take it from him. So like, that's what we're trying to do here. Let's make sure to give him some money so he can bring a medal to me, and then I can power bomb him like a couple times, and then basically just like take it on.
That sounded like a plan up until the power bombing part, but we'll
I mean,
we'll see what happens.
I like that he was like, I was okay with you challenging me, but I'm just saying,
Plot twist.
brother, if you're a $120 at a certain point, if you're a $125, that's way easier to power bomb than the current version of you. So I feel like my odds are a little bit higher if you go down in weight.
We'll see what happens.
Okay, I'm just saying. Hey, listen, all I know is take this to the bank. This man woke up at 6 a.m. and he made his way here, and I respect that. But he didn't wrestle today. I'm gonna just leave it at that. But no, Matheus, you are such a fun person to be around. A great light personality in a very crazy sport. But your fights speak for themselves. They've been really fun to watch. And having this like nice 10-year-long journey, when I saw you get that moment, it was like I got to see you put a bookmark in something incredible. That the next thing is going to be the next thing, but for right now, I always like commemorating those really incredible moments. And I could see it in your face. I could see it in the way you carried yourself after that fight. It was like, that's a dude who saw his vision coming true. And it was a really cool moment to get to share that in the cage with you. And I applaud you for your efforts, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's next, man. So
appreciate it, man. That means a lot to me. Thank you for, giving us fighters this platform. You're doing amazing work. And let's keep grinding. Let's keep getting to the top.
Let's do it. All right, let me close this up real quick. All right, you guys. So thank you so much for watching the Grappling Hour. I hope you enjoyed this episode. A couple quick reminders. 1, like, comment, and subscribe. Remember how I said if you didn't have something you were ready to comment on, you can put it in the comment section right now. So this is based off the conversation the way I did here today. Why don't we just put this one down? Put in the comment section, if you have an air fryer, what you like to make in your air fryer. That's it. Like, this dude was asking me for recipes, and he's like, nah, should put that on Patreon for your people. And I was like, it's not a bad idea, dude. That's not a terrible idea. But I want to hear what you guys do. What is the specialty that you make in your air fryer? Because those of us who are watching our figures and trying not to be super fat, air fryer does help you achieve that.
For sure.
You know what? I need to get an air fryer sponsor. That's what I need to do.
Brother. Yes, sir.
I think that's the move.
The rice
right?
cooker too with the veggies?
Oh, the rice cooker. You know what? Aroma. I think that's the one. I think that's the aroma one. My mother-in-law got that one too, because we already had a rice cooker. We're doing like a Hawaiian themed 10-year anniversary party. And she's like, I'll cook. And I go, that's insane.
Invite me to the party next time, brother.
But I don't think the food was... for the food that you like, I think we need to hire people to make that kind of food. I don't know that I'm that good of a cook, but we will talk. Yes, I like that this dude's like, was there food involved? Why didn't you invite me, man? I was like, brother, we weren't talking then. We didn't know who each other was, aside from a cameo or two in each other's lives. But put that in the comment section. And then, if you would be so kind, head on over to patreon.com/grappling hour. Become a member of our Patreon for just $5 a month. You'll see the interviews 30 days before anybody else. And for a few extra dollars, you'll see extra bonus content not available anywhere else, including tape studies like we did with him. You can also see Roast Wrath and the Grappling Hour Challenge, as well as some extra episodes that we don't release anywhere else. So give that love and support to us there, patreon.com/grappling hour. Last but not least on the reminders, rapasparza.com/merch for extra merch. Get you some Grappling Hour hoodies and some t-shirts. I know it is summer, but the hoodies keep you warm if you go compete. And I hear word you actually do really well if you compete in a Grappling Hour hoodie. Last but not least, you guys, thank you so much. Continue the discussions that we have here on the show on our Discord at Grappling Hour. That's going to do it for us here at the Grappling Hour. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats. Perfect.